Most welcome to the Voice of Evolution, beautiful people. I hope you all made it very well through the eclipse season that will actually not stop until we hit the solstice in December. But today I truly think it's very important to talk about a very large issue globally seen, and that is food disorders. And many people have them. I'm not only talking about anorexia, bulimia. I think many people have many sorts of food disorders, and especially at this particular time, let's say in evolution, as foods fail to bring through many nutrients, vitamins and minerals that are needed to build up a healthy lifestyle. And so there is so many compositions, because the most important sources and forces that brings you off, or that deviate you from a healthy lifestyle, and that creates actually many more disorders, not only food but also in the psyche of people on this planet. And most of them come actually from anxiety, fear, especially noise disturbances, which is a very important factor. Inadequate neurological output and the deeper subconscious levels of fear, lack of focus, stress on the job, stress in society, stress with teachers, stress with children. Stress is all over the plane unless we delete it and evaporate it from our energy. So I think it's very important to understand where it comes from, and how societal manipulation plays a big role, or has a lot of impact on anything that is a food disorder. It's not enough to detach or to address the psychological content. It is very important to go to the root of the problem, as I see a lot of academics, doctors, psychiatrists hitting the falseness of the root, meaning it's not, we have glands in the body, right, in the brain, and these glands, they stimulate the neurological contact. They will tell you, you're hungry, so you need food, right? Or you're hungry, but you're telling your body, I don't need food, and so we have that phenomena called anorexia. So whatever a gland fires, but it's not the thalamus gland, not at all. I disagree 1000% with scientists on that. Because I offered a lot of solutions to young people in their teens and even children to get out of bulimia and anorexia. So the in-between food disorders most of the time come from unhealthy foods and laziness in psychology. And people most of the time also agree with that. But the question is, how do I get out of the laziness? How do I crave healthy foods instead of the lesser gods, so to speak, the lesser foods that actually do not feed the body? And so there is an answer to everything when applying light technology and getting out of the so-called unhealthy sugars and plastic foods. Even today there is rice in the plastic, there is a lot of let's say manipulated foods in supermarkets we should avoid and we should gain knowledge about. And so it's not surprising at all when young children grow up, and once they are released in society, meaning going to kindergarten, going to school, they learn about different foods. We cannot always avoid them the intake of cookies and sugars and stuff. The only most important thing I have seen during the past 20 years of teaching is that there is a lack of communication and a lack or of the need to express themselves, or spirits, young spirits are being cut down, and so they cannot express themselves anymore because they are getting a program in which they are allowed to express, but these programs do not fit their brainwaves, the way they think, the beauty of their uniqueness, and so the problem starts to accumulate from one level into the next level. And so not everything is connected to parents, not everything is connected to teachers either. So here addressing in the first place where the problem stations, what makes one crave foods all the times, or when stress pops up, or when a lot of noise in society or in the job pops up, people start eating a lot of sugars and stuff, and then they have a kind of satisfaction that actually degrades the body because it affects intelligence and it affects the brain as well. And so the highest level of deaths in society when it comes to mental health is actually in the department of food disorders. And so the insula in the brain or creates a signal and drives one hungry, or creates hormones that are completely out of order. So my approach to this aspect is first going to the anger, to the fear, see where it comes from, eliminate the gland that fires the craving, and eliminate the consciousness that is attached to the craving, be it fear, be it low worth, be it lower values, unworthiness, all these things, and anxiety, the many levels within anxiety that create a lot of food cravings that are not good for the body. So that is very, very individual, but especially also fear and people thinking that foods bring on weight. There is no such thing that food bring on weight. Emotion bring on weight in the body, and that's all there is to it. So once we clear out the emotion, then the craving goes. And I must say, what I've learned here is with light, so the breathing system that has been off for so many years, and that education is coming back on the planet through a few that are educating it, as myself, because most people think that physical food is the only food that feeds the body, while it's actually the breath, the air that sustains your body, right? When you stop breathing, you die. All your functions in the body, the glands, the muscles, the blood circulation, whatever you have as a beautiful composition, dies off. So quite naturally, the earth doesn't make sense. The earth has no logic, and thus the term neurologic needs to move into spiritual neurological content in which your spirit is being evaluated and moving into a level where you are being respected and a level of integrity. And that can teach one to understand where the food cravings come from. And so that approach assisted a lot of young people to see, to understand in the first place how to respect food as a nutrient and not as a filler to emotion, because that is actually what a food disorder is, no matter what kind. So respecting food puts one back into balance, and how to do that. Many people hate foods, or other people, they just love anything as long as it is food. And that's quite understandable, because there's so much noise in society. People can hardly keep up with technology, with the malfunctioning or the debris we have to live through regarding the ecological system. But there are ways out that can be educated, and so going to a level of detachment from where the psychology comes from. So you have a reason. Why do you want that food? What are you filling up with wanting or craving foods all the time? Because most of the time I experience that these people take unhealthy food, sugars, large amounts of fats that are unnecessary. It doesn't mean you cannot have sugar, enjoy a biscuit, some chocolate, ice cream, whatever. We are here to truly enjoy physical food, but in a healthy and sustainable way, so that our body can grow and profit from the nutrients of the food. And that is a healthy lifestyle. So when eliminating that kind of psychology that keeps you craving all of the time, we can see people move from discontentment, disharmony, into a level of, let's say, peaceful serenity. And because the mind needs to be sussed, and the best way would either way be eliminated, because it's part of the soul syndrome. When living in the soul means living in the matrix of captivity and living as you are being dictated in dictatorship. Nothing has been dictated. Once you gain mastery over your body, in order to gain mastery over your body, you need to be able to know your body, to know its functions, to know how your body processes foods, what it does with it, alright? And so there is one master gland, and certainly not the thalamic gland, in the body that continuously fires and tells you when to take food, what kind of food, and we can invert that. I specialize in that through individual sessions. You can also do many meditational alignments to eliminate the attachment to wanting unhealthy foods or anything else. Detaching from how you lived into the now, and staying in the now moment needs some new decision making. The decision that you make should not be difficult. So I counter talk 100% any doctor, psychologist, psychiatrist on this item, because it should never ever be difficult to transform from a food addiction or malfunctioning or disorder or whatever you want to term it. It should never be hard on anyone, because that even causes more and more and more stress, and it causes non-acceptance by society, why there is always a lot of discontent, fear and malfunctioning. So one needs to allow self to go through a process, and that is nobody's business but yours. And I would like to make that clear, because family members, friends, whatever, willing to help you with good intent most of the time is no help at all, because when going through a process, that is a process between you and the applications you can be offered if willing to do that. And then we can see we move from acceptance into detachment, into the elimination of the stress factors, the fear, the panic attacks, whatever it may be, and many noises in the brain that make you take unhealthy foods, or eating all of the time, or not eating at all, fearing you get fat from taking foods, right? And the whole population would be fat, right? So, and everybody functions on a different level. So what I do especially is looking at your adrenal glands. The adrenal glands are responsible for the fire and flight engine in the body, and bring balance in that. After that, I address all the other glands, but especially the larger nervous system, or the vagus nerve is very, very important, especially as well as the nerves that are connected to the glandular system, and how they fire through the vagus nerve, and what comes in your stomach, or your creative engine, your sacral center. So when we eliminate lower consciousness, or consciousness in which you actually degrade yourself to something lesser than a beautiful, healthy entity that kills the body, that kills the cells, because your cells in the body hear every thought you have within. And when you rewire that consciousness in the brain through the glands and the nervous system, or the neurological content, or how the brain synapses information, actually, you create a new communication system. So here I essentially teach you to learn how to communicate with your body, and tell your body that it doesn't need to get fat or anything, or too thin, or whatever the case may be. And create also a new communication system with food. When you start to respect food on a higher level and see what it can do to you, you start to elaborate on a new system, or maybe get interested in the herbal kingdoms, in the vegetables and fruits, in the many grains. There is so many foods people do not even know about. But I can tell one thing for sure. There's a few things that truly kill the body, and that is wheat. Wheat is in pasta, wheat is in pizza, wheat is in your bread, wheat is almost in everything. And when that is eliminated from the diet, then we can resurrect the body and refine consciousness to a healthier lifestyle. All of that is being done through the breathing system that knows your body, and then you create a better relationship with yourself. And when you have established that, you open up the first levels of self-love and a higher degree. And then I will open your interest to a higher psychology, philosophy with self, and change your philosophy with self, and thus the outer world changes for you. And when the outer world changes for you, and I teach you how to self-reflect, self-protect, and get strong in mentality, then there's an elimination procedures of noises. There is a detection of dense negative energy. There is a halt or a stop to anything you no longer agree with. And then the healing starts out with no stress, with acceptance, love, integrity, and harmony. That is what I offer all of the time, and I have seen many, many beautiful young people change in a few months' time and never think back the old ways of feeding self and feeding the body. Because once you learn how to feed your beautiful body, not only with physical food but also with light foods, you start to understand the beauty of your essence on this planet. And once you understand that beauty, you stop the self-abuse, you stop the self-manipulation, and you gain a higher respect to yourself, in which the outer world needs to respect you equally. And so all these programs are out there for those interested. I have these individual sessions. I have many, many onlines. No matter where you are at, there is assistance, there is help, whenever you want to, whenever you would like to allow it, even though a conversation can change your entire life.